Cool. All right. So, first of all, what's your name? Okay.
This interview was great. This girl is great. What we're going to do in this video is we're going to listen to her whole interview, and I'm going to give you my thoughts as we go along.
First question is, which gender is more likely to brag about themselves or engage in self-promotion, men or women, would you say?
Well, I guess that would be women, based on the social media account, the Instagram account especially.
Yeah. Okay.
That is true. If you consider bragging to include displays on social media, like provocative photos on Instagram, and even after becoming mothers, you could consider like happy family photos, that is a type of bragging. And so in that sense, women do brag more, but it's more subtle bragging. It's sort of indirect. The reason is that women are not very keen. They don't want to be seen to be bragging because that's going to make themselves a target of negative female attention. And for women, I mean, for all humans, but for women in particular, being part of the social group is really, really important. It's a really strong evolutionary instinct because back in ancient times, women depended on the group to survive. You know, they needed to be good socially with the others in the community. So they're very sensitive to the negative opinions of others, and they're careful to never openly brag in case it provokes jealousy or resentment.
Why do you think women might gravitate more towards like social media and stuff like that?
Well, I guess it's a matter of low self-esteem, and they need to really show off that they matter by taking some extra likes.
Sure. Okay.
That is not unique to women. Ayn Rand wrote about this extensively. She called them second-handers. They're people who can't derive self-esteem from themselves. They have no internal pride in who they are, so they live through the opinions of others. So what she's saying is that a girl who has low self-esteem and is, insecure about how she looks, she's going to post photos on Instagram so she can get views, get likes, whatever it is. And that's why she's showing off so much skin, because that's what she's craving, that kind of validation. And it's obviously going to entice more people to her content if she's appealing to their reproductive instincts. So they see the views and the likes that they're getting when they post these provocative photos, and they feel validated. I'm beautiful, I'm desirable, not because I think so necessarily myself, but I have proof that other people think so.
Is it true that women are attracted to men who are confident but not arrogant?
I don't think so. I think the contrary is what happens. Usually women are attracted to arrogant men, but they say they do attract by confident people.
I really like this girl. She's honest, she's laughing, she's having a good time. What she's saying here is that women will say that they want confidence because they can't be criticized, but what they truly want is arrogance. But you can't come out and just say, I like arrogant men, because everybody's going to judge you. So you say, I like confident men instead. Now, in my experience, the lower the quality the woman, the more she's likely to respond to arrogance in a man, because a low-quality woman, her worldview is more simple, and she can't really appreciate a more gentle, sophisticated type of confidence. What she's looking for is a raw strength, raw masculinity, and outright arrogance can seem really tough to her. But for classier girls, higher quality women, they look at the overly macho guys, and it seems to them that they're compensating for something, and they're more capable of appreciating a more calm, slow, sophisticated type of confidence.
Okay. Have you kind of seen that firsthand?
Well, I have a few experiences with my friends who constantly say that I'm looking for a confident man, but eventually ended up with some cocky person. Yeah.
Sure. Okay.
That is so funny. She says that she has seen it in her friends that they do one thing even though they were saying something completely different. And that's the ultimate validation of that saying, that you need to listen to someone's actions, not their words. So if a girl is telling you, I really like nice guys, I don't like those thug life jerks, but those are the guys that she keeps dating, well, obviously, don't listen to her words, watch her behavior.
Okay. What is the difference between confidence and arrogance, would you say?
Well, I think that confidence is when you feel good about yourself and you don't have to show it. It's basically seen by everyone. Whereas arrogance would be more of a showing off of skills that you may not have.
Sure.
I don't really have much to add here. I completely agree with her. Confidence is real, it's based on facts, and if something is grounded in reality, you don't really need to brag about it. When it's arrogant, it's because you're overcompensating for something, you're pretending.
Okay. And then are you comfortable doing self-promotion and talking to others about your best qualities, would you say?
I'll just stop here because I want to tell you the reason that I wrote this question is because I know that women don't want to do self-promotion or seen to be doing self-promotion. Even though they want men to see their best qualities, they're very nervous about what other women will say if they notice them doing that. It's like what I talked about earlier. They want to be in good with a female social group. But still, I thought it would be really interesting to ask this question and just see how women respond. So let's listen. Let's see how self-aware this woman is.
I really don't. I really don't. Hopefully, people that surround me are able to understand my qualities and be the ones expressing them.
Did you see how uncomfortable she was? He asked her, are you able to do this self-promotion? And she says, no, I don't like it. I really, really don't like it. And she says what most women will say when asked this question is that she wants people to notice her good qualities without her explicitly having to point them out. And this is one of those areas where I actually really feel sorry for women because, truthfully, a woman who really has genuine confidence in herself and is assertive about it and does do the more aggressive type of self-promotion, she runs the risk of being seen by those around her as less feminine, maybe even a bit bossy or bitchy. And if you're in a work environment, that really, really sucks because often you can't just wait for people to notice your good work. That's not enough. Sometimes you need to be a bit more assertive. You need to do some self-promotion. And I think that that's something that comes to men a lot easier because that kind of bragging, I suppose you could call it, is more in line with what we think of as a masculine characteristics. I remember something that Jordan Peterson said is that he spends a lot of time in his psychology practice helping women become more self-assertive, learn how to ask for pay rises, for promotions, things like that. And that really sucks for women because, at least in the work context, they're actually torn between their desire for professional advancement and a desire to retain their femininity. And I think Jordan Peterson says this is one of the main reasons for any pay discrepancy that people are noticing. It's that women aren't comfortable being aggressive and going after promotions in the same way that cutthroat corporate men are. And that could be why some women just give up the corporate life and become a wife and a mother, because when faced with that choice, they would rather retain their femininity than continue to fight in this masculine environment.
So do you kind of feel a bit uncomfortable, showing it, showing off your qualities?
Yeah, I do actually. I do.
Why is that? Would you be able to explain why?
Well, I guess that it's what I believe. I don't feel like I should be the one presenting myself. I think that my actions should be the ones that really matter.
Sure. Okay.
I was really hoping that she'd be able to answer that she's nervous about how other women will see her if she was to do some self-promotion. She wasn't really able to articulate that. And even so, I still think that that's ultimately the reason. That's what's behind this reluctance.
And then, do you ever worry that if you do self-promotion, other women might like you less?
Oh, that's good that I put it in there. I forgot that. I actually asked directly this question. Are you nervous to do self-promotion because of what other women might say? Let's see how she responds.
Well, I guess women jealousy is a thing. So yes, I think that sometimes you need to be more moderate and modest so that you can avoid all this conflict among people.
Sure.
I think that's what's called leading the witness with that question. And it would have been more impactful if she'd said that of her own volition. But it's still valuable because when it's suggested to her that this might be the reason why she's reluctant to do the self-promotion, she agrees, yes, that is a real thing. Now, if memory serves me, this part here coming up has a siren in the background, and it's very difficult to hear what she's saying. I think she says the reason people use social media and things like Instagram, and the reason you see partial nudity is because of the self-promotion. But we'll just skip through that quite quickly.
Cool. And then how much of social media like Instagram and TikTok is self-promotion by women, would you say?
Well, I don't really know much about TikTok, so I don't say. I can see especially Instagram and all the influencers. I feel like everyone's trying to promote themselves to their accounts in a very bad way.
Yeah. And
that's such a horrible thing when conducting these interviews, to have a siren go on in the background. In addition to meaning that the audio and the footage is just not usable, it can also make the atmosphere while conducting the interview really, really tense, whereas your job as an interviewer is to make the person feel as comfortable and relaxed as possible. That's hard to do with a huge siren going on in the background.
Let's see. Cool. And then are women more interested in impressing the men around them or the women, do you think?
The reason that I wrote this question is because we often hear that the reason that women dress provocatively and put so much time into their appearance is to appease the male gaze. You know, it always seems to be men's fault somehow. So when asking women about things like makeup, lots of women have actually said that they don't do it just for men, but they do it for themselves or even for other women because they want to show off their appearance to other females, sort of establish their place in the female hierarchy. I wanted to see what she thought of that idea. Unfortunately, because English is her second language, I don't think that she completely understood the question, and so her answer doesn't really make sense. I'm going to skip through it quite quickly.
I think it's something that came with the advantage of technology and being able to see the other person just by experience. And I think women really, because they have a strong gender, I think they really take advantage of that.
Sure.
I've listened to what her answer is a few times now, and I'll be honest, I'm still not sure exactly what she's talking about here or how it relates to the question. I just think something got lost in the translation.
But are they doing it for the purposes of like impressing their, like that, say for example, their female friends or female colleagues at work, or is it kind of like just impressing other guys for partners or guys maybe interested in dating?
Well, I think maybe it might be both things depending on the situation and depending on what are you thinking. So yeah, I think both ways work.
Sure. Okay.
The interviewer was smart here because I think he recognized that she probably didn't understand the question. So he asked her to clarify. And yes, basically she confirmed that sometimes women are dressing up for men, sometimes they're dressing up for women, sometimes it's both. And like I mentioned, the reason that I like to establish this is because men catch so much heat from objectifying women, or the accusation that somehow the patriarchy is responsible for making women objectify themselves. But that is not the scientific consensus. The research is quite clear. Women objectify other women all of the time. The research shows that very clearly. Women look at the breasts of other women the same amount as men. They're just better at not getting caught. So we can't blame everything on men. And that's also the reason for this next question.
And then if a woman is wearing revealing clothing, does she want other people to notice, or is she just doing it for herself, do you think?
They all say they do it for themselves, but the truth is that they do it just to grab all the attention. Yeah.
Sure.
But if you want to, I mean, you don't have to get nude or something. You just need to be yourself.
Sure. When you say they're doing it for the attention, would you say it's more like male attention or female attention?
Mostly male attention, yeah.
Yeah. Sure. Okay, cool.
I think that it's questions like this that really set this channel apart. And I don't want to become too self-congratulatory, but I'm really proud to be able to make content like this because I'm not really sure if anyone else is doing this. Because we all know when women say, I just dress this way for myself, that's complete nonsense. Women don't wear makeup or put on a miniskirt or a low-cut top when they're just walking around in their bedrooms, you know, and nobody else is around, just privately. They do that when they go out, like they dress that way because they like the validation of feeling desirable. They enjoy the sensation of people staring at them and they like feeling attractive in strangers' eyes. And the thing is that even though everybody knows that this is true, everyone is scared to say it. Women claim to do it just for themselves and the whole culture is complicit. The whole culture just pretends like this is true, even though everybody knows that it's nonsense. Women just say that they do it for themselves because it makes them feel too vulnerable to say out loud, yes, I show off skin to make men think of sex so that they feel attracted to me. Because even though I don't want to have sex with them, knowing that they want to have sex with me makes me feel desirable, and I need that to build my self-esteem and to feed my ego. So in this interview, she admits it, and admittedly, it's not really a huge revelation. We already know this is true, but still, I think that it's rare to actually capture on film women admitting this out loud because there's something taboo about it. It's like we're breaking some unspoken rule. No one's allowed to say that the emperor has no clothes. Nobody can mention the elephant in the room. No one in this culture can say women dress provocatively because they want validation of their desirability. But what's great about these interviews is it's not just me saying it. We actually get women saying it. And I think that's one of the best things about my channel is it's not just me talking about women. I feature hundreds of women also talking about women.
All right, yeah, that was it. Cool, yeah.